Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's episode is dedicated to 3 of my patrons, Nazzul, Sir Skelibate, and Rowan Church, whose characters form the core of my strategy for today's boss fight. It's thanks to people like them that I can keep making videos about the games I love to play. Thanks guys, I really appreciate your continued support. As always, I'll try not to get you killed, but hey, this is Darkest Dungeon. I can't make any promises. Once again, our latest expedition to the old ruins had been a monumental success. Not only had they found the deeds I needed to continue expanding the hamlet, but they had also retrieved a truly remarkable amount of gold and gemstones to help fund it with. Of course, that wasn't to say that everything had gone smoothly. Fox and Dahl brought up numerous points of concern, starting with the curious altars they had discovered, and ending with the robed figure that had apparently tried to collect their heads. Dahl also made it clear that she had no desire to work with Croft again, though she declined to give me any specific reasons as to why. For his part, Croft agreed that he had gotten a bit too enthusiastic out in the field, but he agreed that it was probably for the best if he wasn't partnered with the musketeer again. He just needed some time to clear his head. That was fine. I had other business to tend to. With both deeds and gold in my possession, it was a simple matter to arrange a new contract with the neighboring Workmen's Guild. Soon they were arriving in droves, and I quickly put them to work constructing new houses for our citizenry. For all the difficulty they had given me, the guild was remarkably efficient once all the proper paperwork had been taken care of. Within a matter of days, they had not only finished extending the barracks, but they had also refurbished and expanded the sanitarium as well. It wasn't much, but hopefully it would be enough to help us survive the days ahead. With the work done, the workers abandoned the hamlet just as quickly as they had arrived, with one notable exception. He introduced himself as Chiron, one of the project foremen, but also a retired man-at-arms. While the others had been eager to leave this cursed place, he had instead grown intrigued. It had been many years since he had last taken up arms, but now he was ready to do so again, for a righteous cause and a hefty payday. His assistance was welcome, of course, but things had honestly been rather quiet since the necromancer's death. Our scouts were reporting that the undead activity around the ruins had grown subdued, and the leading theory was that it had something to do with those strange altars that Fox and the others had discovered. Now the question was, who had actually built them? We knew that the ruins were already inhabited by bandits and cultists, but there had long been rumors of other survivors. Those rumors were abruptly confirmed when a worn and tattered stranger arrived, hurling accusations at me as if they were sharpened spears. My bodyguards were quick to leap to my defense, sending the madman fleeing back to the safety of those crumbling ruins. I spent hours studying my uncle's old effects until eventually discovering a partial journal entry that spoke of a strange man with a somewhat similar appearance. He had been a self-proclaimed prophet who had arrived shortly after my uncle had first started funding some manner of grand expansion beneath the estate. Apparently, my uncle had considered him quite a nuisance, but none of the subsequent entries in the journal ever mentioned how the situation had been resolved. Mad or not, perhaps this man, this prophet, could somehow give us new insight into whatever darkness my uncle had brought upon the estate. I summoned some of my most capable recruits, Luzon and Alistair, Purge and Rowan, men of blood and faith, sorcery and science. Together, I hoped they could track down this mad prophet and bring him back to the hamlet, by force if necessary. If the sisters at the sanitarium could somehow treat his madness, then in time he may have been able to answer some of our questions. And even if he didn't, the estate would still be better off with one less lunatic prowling in the shadows.
Excavations beneath the manor were well underway when a particularly ragged indigent arrived in the hamlet. This filthy, toothless miscreant boasted an uncanny knowledge of my ambitions and prognosticated publicly that, left unchecked, I would soon unleash doom upon the world. The echoes of his mindless tittering reverberate maddeningly.
Welcome back. Today, we're obviously headed into the ruins to take on our second major boss fight, the Sonorous Prophet. I only have limited experience with this particular boss, so this should be interesting. At any rate, let's take a look at our heroes. Alistair Gardwin, Luzon Nazzul, Rowan Church, Purge. I know this is a pretty unorthodox party build for taking on the Prophet, but I do have a plan here. I don't know if the plan will actually work, but I guess we'll find out together.
Such a burden of finery risks life and limb.
Now, much like the time we took on the Necromancer, we're making a beeline right for where I assume the Prophet is hiding. We'll assess our condition once we've taken him out, then we'll decide if we're going to loot the rest of the dungeon. You have got to be kidding me. We really can't get through a single dungeon without running into these guys. Alright, let's make it quick. Okay, that's one down already.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Oh, so far so good. We're taking hits, but we're not getting infected. That should take care of the supplicants.
A death by inches.
Someone really needs to kill that mosquito.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay, there we go. You know, I do like the concepts behind the Crimson Court DLC, but I can definitely understand why some people suggested I disable it. Okay, this should be a nice, easy fight. These things are immune to bleeding, but Luzon still does respectable damage.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Alright, Alistair, I need you to hold it together. We're saving that blood for the boss fight.
Be gone, fiend.
Oof. Well, now we need some healing. Let's see if we can buy some time here. Actually, let's just finish this. Dragging things out usually makes things worse.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Another one falls. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, that actually wasn't too bad. We'll come back for the chest after the boss fight. In fact, we'll just ignore all the containers for now. Looks like another easy fight. Let's take these guys out. Oh. Well, that does complicate things.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Let's buy a little time. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Now we just need to finish these guys off.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Back to the pit. As victories mount, so too will resistance. The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
All right, let's keep moving. There's another treasure room ahead of us, so we've got at least one more fight between us and the Prophet.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
That's a more difficult lineup, but we should be able to handle it. We really need to take out those casters. Nice. We've basically won the fight at this point.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Ooh. Well, we definitely want that recovery charm. We'll just have to decide what we're willing to leave behind. Okay, we're all set. Let's move on. Oh, nice. This is basically just a free chance to heal. Not that we really need it.
Ringing ears, blurred vision. The end approaches. Executed with impunity. Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
There he is. And of course, we've got a random encounter between us and the boss fight. Let's clear the hallway, then we'll fall back and set up camp. Really? Come on. Alright, let's do this.
Waits for the slightest lapse in concentration. The ground quakes.
We need to kill these things faster. Okay. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Let's finish this before it happens to anyone else. I would like to heal, but we really need to stay focused on killing these things. Okay, that was painful, but it's over. Let's head back and set up camp. We do need to give blood to our vampires, but we want the buff to be active during the boss fight. We'll give it to them after camp.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
I guess we should have given Alistair blood before we set up camp. I'll keep that in mind next time. Let's see what we're working with. Okay, let's dole out some stress heals. I could have probably planned that out a little better. Alright, we'll use Abandon Hope. We can't have Purge go into the boss fight with that much stress. We've still got 2 more points to play with. Let's make Purge a little more stress resistant.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Alright, we're rested and ready to go. Since we're about to head into a boss fight, this is the time to use that blood we've been saving. Okay, I think we're about as ready as we're ever going to be. Let's top off our light and get in there.
The madman hides there, behind the pews, spouting his mindless drivel.
Much like the witch, the prophet likes to stick to the back row. The 3 pews in front of him are just intended to slow us down. If I had really wanted this to be easy, I would have just loaded the party with powerful ranged attacks. Instead, I built a party intended to debuff the prophet, to reduce the power of his attacks to nothing.
A decisive pummeling.
Still pretty powerful. We'll need to keep stacking debuffs. Rowan's main goal here is to keep stacking blight damage on the prophet, and to act as a secondary healer in the case of an emergency. Lazan is basically here for the same reason. He can deal out bleeding damage, and he can fire off powerful healing spells whenever he's badly injured. The idea here is to strike a balance. We need to keep the prophet debuffed and keep our party healed, which should give Alistair ample time to smash those barricades to pieces. It would be a lot easier to focus on just killing the prophet, but for every one of those pews we destroy, we get a unique item worth over 2,000 gold. Okay, I think we've got him debuffed enough for now. Let's focus on attacking and healing for a couple of turns.
Struck.
Nice. 1 down, 2 to go. We've still got one more round. Meanwhile, Rowan will keep stacking blight damage.
A momentary abatement.
Purge, come on, man. We could really use some healing out here. Oh.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Okay, I clearly just made a big mistake, and now we're in trouble. Alright, Purge. Alistair needs healing. Do not kill him. There we go. We've got the party back in halfway decent shape, and we could go for that third pew. But I think we've probably tempted fate a bit too much already. Now that we're not debuffing the Prophet, I guess we should have Lizan focus on healing. But of course, we'll have Alistair stay on offense. I'm so tempted to go for that pew, but let's just finish this.
Did he foresee his own demise? I care not, so long as he remains dead.
Well, that certainly got the job done. Nice work, Alistair. In fact, nice work, everyone. I think every member of the party served a pivotal role in keeping us all alive. We don't really need either of these trinkets. We could take one for the resale value, but we're just going to end up dumping it once we find something better. Our quest is complete, but we're still in halfway decent shape. Let's double back and loot all those containers we passed. Of course, we haven't actually checked this hallway before, but thanks to the scouting, we know there aren't any threats here. Well, that was a waste of time. Let's go check out the treasure rooms. There goes the last of our food. We're okay for now, but if we start starving, then it's time to go.
Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
Disappointing, but I'm sure the chests will have something better.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Slightly better, but that's not saying much. This is still pretty underwhelming. Wow, I don't even think most of that's worth taking. It's a risk, but let's check this offshoot path here. We should be able to handle at least one or two more fights.
Curious is the trap-maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
This should be nice and easy.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Let's go ahead and dump the torches. We don't really need them at this point. Wow, we're really just not having any luck here, are we?
No force of will can overcome a failing body.
Alright, we're not going to last much longer now that we're being hit with starvation. We'll stick around long enough to loot the last treasure room, then it's time to go.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Now this is a bit more like it. Better late than never. I guess if we're leaving anyway, we might as well dump the rest of our supplies. Except for the keys, of course. We'll need that for the chest. I guess we don't need all those journal pages either. I do like collecting them, but they're a low priority.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
We're a bit lighter on loot than I would have liked, but all in all, not a bad run. Let's go home. I suppose we're still walking away with a decent amount of gold. It also got us a pretty nice trinket. Unholy Hater and Fated are both pretty nice. But poor Rowan. His reward for hitting rank 3 is rabies. At any rate, we're past the 30-minute mark, so we'll pick things up here next time. See you then.